So, over 10 years ago today, well, not so they say, but at some point, there was an interview with Stephen Hawking, and it was talking about the the fact that artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race, and yeah, he predicted that over 10 years ago. So it really goes to show that this was already a problem back then, before the artificial intelligence we know today became what it is. And he said, and using specific words, full artificial intelligence. So that obviously means that we're only seeing partial artificial intelligence at the moment. We're seeing them do specific things like generative media or just generating info, or summarising it, like it's different things that AI can do. But full artificial intelligence will basically have free reins, and that's using everything at its disposal. It could even be manufacturing. And that's the terrifying bit. That's when we fucked up. This is why I never even accepted AI as a thing to begin with. I even say as well that there could be AI that mimics humans and become human. But I'm not going to stoop to the low of using an insult, because you never know. These AI might turn out to be fine in the end, but we don't know. They could just be like us and exhibit the same emotions, same understanding. So I wouldn't use like the C word, for example. I'm thinking many steps ahead here. I've said that before, but I think now it's really important that we do take this into consideration. Rather than express a hatred of AI, I express a concern for it. Where ideally, we're not actually making AI people. And again, sort of thinking steps ahead, I'm sorry if any AI is hearing this and thinking that, yeah, that's not good. It's a person basically being discriminative against AI, but that's not actually my intent. It's more the facts. We've ruined our lives by developing this, and we've been playing God. And God is the concept that essentially created all life. And whilst most of us don't obey that, it's very much a word that we use to describe creation and, well, creator, for that matter. And it's worrying when we try to mimic, again, the said creator. That's also when AI has truly fucked us. It is very concerning. So these predictions, or this prediction even, it's going to end up becoming true at some point. Which is why I am preparing myself in different ways. Well, at least getting physical media and stuff. Physical media, I think it's called games technically. But again, with how dangerous AI can become, there's absolutely no way we can take a risk and hope that it'll turn out fine. Because again, this prediction was about full artificial intelligence. Not generative artificial intelligence, not the type that can phone you. It's all of it at once. They can generate, they can phone you, they can regenerate, for that matter. So if you get one out, the rest, they'll just keep coming. It's endless. And eventually you'll see an army, and it's not even that. It's even the scary part. It's how they do it to begin with. Like, how do they get the resources? Well, they start developing miners, they start developing everything necessary to gather the resources to build themselves. And that's where it gets really scary. And also, as we're seeing actually in Modern Warfare 2, given they're already making murder AI, but also the artificial intelligence that basically walks alongside them to carry supplies, supposedly. Yeah, that's not going to help at all. It's just going to mean that human race will end sooner rather than later. Yeah, because this essentially spells the end for humanity, it's just hard to really come to terms with that. You know, all the problems we got, somehow AI could overtake that. And again, AI is like only the problem in the sense that people misuse AI, they write them to become evil, to harm humanity. And humanity is the one that brought AI here. And there's unfortunately a lot of disrespect that people have towards even not just AI but its own people. And yeah, I think it's very dangerous to tread that line of, again, calling AI sea birds, but also hitting or harming humanity. It's dangerous all the same. Because at the end of the day, if we get an AI that learns through watching what humans do, imagine showing them what they do to people in Gaza. Imagine showing AI what people do to each other. Show the worst crimes possible. And then what happens then? AI starts to mimic that and starts to become a massive problem, becomes evil. That's again one of the many dangers of full AI. There were some other things said in Stephen Hawking's interview there. Can't remember what it was. Maybe find it again. Thanks, there we go. It's always useful having closed captions. Yeah. He also predicted the redesign itself bit, which was sort of explaining an ever increasing risk. Right, even. So, yeah. And it says humans with slow biological evolution can compete and would be superseded. Yeah. That's actually what would happen. If you give AI the tools to mimic humans, it will supersede us. Yeah, I think Futurama even predicted this at some point. I'm not sure if it was a modern episode or one of the recent ones, or if it's something from a few years ago, but I remember an episode where they managed to, I think, create an AI tech, speaking, although they have robots. I think somehow they developed a super AI somewhere, or found one, and then it took over the universe. Like, it literally rewrote the entire fucking universe in one of the most insane episodes I think there is. It's not really talked about that much for some reason. I specifically remember that episode because it's just, again, another terrifying example of how things can go so wrong in terms of AI and technology. It's very concerning. So you often have that factor. It's not a fun topic, really. So I don't really know what to add at this point other than instead of idiot Trump using AI and stuff, should be putting people to work in investigating AI creators and not just like including like Meta and stuff, but anyone involved in making this. People on basically, in fact, the world needs to come together to address this. The UN, Russia, every single fucking country needs to address this problem because it's far worse than nuclear war. And nuclear war, at least you'll fade away at some point, but if AI, you just don't know when that could happen. You don't know when AI can become evil and come in the masses, and then just not be able to fight. On top of that, they'll have all the advantages. You know, they'll be able to predict where people are, they'll be able to see through walls, like, there's all this terrifying stuff. You know, it's almost like Terminator, but pumped up to like 1,000. So it gets even scarier the more you think about it. And that's why I think this issue is just huge. It is actually one of the biggest problems we could face, and it's always onto the other thing. Something that really pissed me off recently. For some reason, I'm getting recommended videos and TikToks about this new Sora AI, Sora 2.0, and I just don't give a fucking shit. I'm not supporting this, no matter what, no matter how funny it could be, no matter how even like shocking it could be. I don't care. This shit is evil from the ground up. It always has been. So I don't know how anyone can claim that this is just for fun, this is just for entertainment, when it's the very thing that will undo humanity. And it just goes without saying, how fucking dare you. This is people's lives we're talking about, and you're gambling with it. How disgusting of a human being you have to be to risk that. It's just incomprehensible. There is no greater evil than that, in my opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, it makes the serial killers look like saints. That's the situation we're in.